Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ANC 5A monthly meeting for April 2025. My name is Emily Singer-Lucio, and I am your ANC commissioner. I'm going to put the agenda in the chat. It is also on the website, and it was also emailed out to the community. Okay, so the time is now 6:50 and we will start call the meeting to order. I'm going to establish a quorum.
Madam Chair, I think we have a quorum.
Yes, I'm going to call roll right now. Commissioner Sellers, 5801.
Present.
Commissioner Thomas, 5802.
Present.
Commissioner Singer-Lucio, 5803. Present. Commissioner Hermes, 5804.
Present.
Commissioner Holloway, 5806. I saw him here, so I'm gonna, and then thank you, Commissioner Holloway. And then Commissioner Alston, I just saw you jump on. I want to make sure I get you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to pin you right now. Thank you. Okay, so we have a quorum. I'm sorry, Commissioner 5809, Commissioner Bakum.
Present.
Great, everyone is here. Thank you so much. I would like to first welcome our newest commissioner, Commissioner Keith Sellers from ANC 5801. Commissioners, as always, I encourage you to put your contact information, your phone and your email in the chat so that residents know how to reach you. That would be helpful. Thank you. Okay, commissioners, you were all sent the agenda in advance and it was just posted in the chat. Can I get, I'd like to make a motion, or sorry, can I make a motion to accept the agenda?
I move that we accept the agenda.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, and just to confirm, that was moved by Commissioner Bakum and seconded by Commissioner Hermes. Is that correct?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. It's helpful for me when you make a motion to give me your name so I know, so they don't always see you. Okay. Okay. Commissioners, as you know, we have a vacancy for parliamentarian, and Anthony Hood is on the call, and I've asked Anthony Hood to join us tonight. Commissioner Hermes has offered to take that role, and so Mr. Hood, would you be willing to conduct a quick election and swearing in for that position, please?
Okay, first of all, let me say good evening to everyone. And also I see someone I know, Will Collins, who I haven't spoken to in a while. Let me say good evening to you. Chair Lucille, let me ask you, so you just want me to swear him in? You don't want to have an election? So it's already...
Well, I'd like to do it by unanimous consent because I think we have enough for unanimous consent.
Okay, so I'll take it from there. Thank you. Let me, first of all, the role of parliamentarian is vacant. Any objections to the, what was the name again? Was it Sellers? What was the name again? I'm sorry.
Hermes.
Commissioner Hermes, any objections to Commissioner Hermes being the parliamentarian for ANC 5A? And if there are some, you can speak now. If not, we will adopt it. Not hearing anything, we will adopt that. Commissioner Hermes, I don't see you. Can you, if possible, can you turn on the...
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go, at the top of the screen. Okay. All right. Let me swear you in if you can raise your right hand. I'm going to say I, and then you state your name. I,
Jack Hermes,
swear or affirm
swear
that I, having been elected to serve
I've been elected to serve
as the parliamentarian of office of ANC 5A,
as parliamentarian of the office of ANC 5A,
good, will faithfully carry out the duties
will faithfully carry out the duties
and responsibilities
responsibilities
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability.
of the office which I now enter.
The office that I now enter.
Consider yourself sworn in. Congratulations. I
Thank
think
you.
my duty is done, Madam Chair, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hood. Appreciate you as always.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Good to see you, Mr. Hood.
Always good to see you. I don't know what you're here for, but I'm going to be gone because it may be something I see later on.
It may very well be, Commissioner.
Well,
Hood.
I'm gone.
Mr.
Okay.
Hood, so thank you. Okay, so, thank you so much, everyone. So, the next order of business is the minutes, which you all commissioners received from March 2025. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
I put a motion on the floor that we received a minute for 2025.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
At
Second.
all at one time.
Commissioner Austin seconds.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the minutes as received?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. So commissioners, I had sent everyone some meeting protocol that we had discussed at our executive meeting. I would like to just share that with the community so that they know what we're discussing, and then we can choose to either approve that tonight, as we will put that in place, and we'll put it on the beginning of all of our meeting agendas, or we can table it and discuss it at our next executive meeting, whichever everyone prefers, or we can decline. Let me just run down what I have on here. Sorry, I've got too many documents open. Ooh, I don't have it open anymore. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. So what I had said in the document that I sent you was meeting expectations. So the goal is to be helpful to the community and standards for accountability. As the elected officials for the community, we set the expectations of all the ANC 5A commissioners. ANC,
Excuse me. Sorry, can you share the document?
yep.
Sorry for interrupting.
Sure. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Bacum. So ANC commissioners are encouraged to be on camera. ANC commissioners' names in single member district are encouraged to be identified on their screen. ANC commissioners are encouraged to put their contact information in the chat. Meeting protocol is Robert's Rules of Order. Respect others when speaking. Respect our guests. In order to ask a question or make a comment, all in attendance must either use the raise hand feature or raise their hand on the screen if there is a question, and then wait to be acknowledged. ANC commissioners will be called on first before the public during a discussion. ANC commissioners will be responsible for presenting single member district items. Members of the community should remain on mute until called upon, and disruptive behavior will not be tolerated and will be addressed appropriately by the chair. Any comments, discussion, questions about that from the commissioners?
I move that we accept the meeting protocol as presented.
I have something I want to say, please.
Commissioner Alston. Hold on. Sorry, we have to go by Robert's Rules of Order. So we've got a motion, a motion on the floor. So is there a second to the motion? And then we can open it just for discussion. Is there a second to the motion?
Well, I think there's a question before the motion goes on the floor. Do you have a question, Ms. Alston?
Well, hold on.
Yes.
This is why we now have a parliamentarian. So Commissioner Armez, do you want to correct
Yeah,
those?
so according to Robert's rules, because there has been a motion to adopt it, we would have to entertain that motion. What I would, in my personal opinion, suggest is that we don't second the motion, then we let Commissioner Alston speak, and then when we reintroduce the motion, after we give her a chance to speak.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Commissioner Alston, I'm sorry, Commissioner Bakum, are you okay with that?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, Commissioner Alston, go ahead, please.
This isn't business, so why are we discussing housekeeping rules?
These are just meeting orders, and it's considered meeting orders. I mean, meeting protocol, and it's pretty standard in meetings to have these. So I did have a discussion with the Office of OANC and ran this by them, and they recommended, they said a lot of ANC do this as well, so they recommended it as well.
I think another big thing here is that these are not binding like
Right.
protocols. These are again just sort of recommendations, things that we should hold ourselves up to. So even if you don't, fully agree that, at all times these work, again, they're not like a binding rules.
Right. I mean, what the goal is that they're in the best interest of the community who elected us, that we work together, and that this is one of the ways we identify to the community our goals in working together.
I would ask, if we table this, I think it may be more biting to this than what we think there is. If, Shelley doesn't know, if it's okay with Shelley, because she had put a motion on the floor.
Commissioner
She's withdrawn
Bakum?
a
If,
motion.
if there's no second, it doesn't go anywhere, right?
Right, there's no motion to
I'll,
Commissioner.
I'll
there's no
second her motion to vote now.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold
I
on,
have-
time out. We're all talking out of order. Can people please either use the raise hand feature or raise their hand if they're going to talk, please? Just to keep things in order. Okay, so we don't currently have a motion on the floor but Commissioner Hermes has now agreed to second it. So we can move forward with the motion and either adopt it or we can table it. We had discussed this in our executive meeting, so, all right, so.
What I feel is, as adults, we shouldn't be doing this as adults. We already know what we're supposed to do. We agreed to this when we took the office and we came in to our first meeting. So why are we going over? This is not business.
Okay, all right, I appreciate the comment, Commissioner Alston. It's taken under advisement. We do now have a motion on the floor, so we have a first motion by Commissioner Bakum and a second by Commissioner Hermes. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's kind of crazy. It's pronounced 3 different ways, so just pick one of the many, and that's one of the
Okay.
3. So
Thank you. Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. We can take a vote and see where we end up, and we can go from there. So, commissioners, all in favor of adopting these as just meeting protocol?
aye.
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 You want us to raise our hands? Sorry.
I've got it. Yep, I've got Commissioner Emez, Commissioner Bakum, Commissioner Sellers. Okay, all opposed?
Opposed?
I oppose.
Oops, I'm opposed.
Okay, so we've got 3 in favor and 3 opposed. That means the chair breaks the tie. So I would vote in favor of these. So that means we have a vote of 4-3. I'm also happy to continue to discuss them with people, and if we decide to revise them, we can revise them if that works. So for now, we have a vote of 4-3. Okay, and let's move on. Okay, so next we have the treasurer's report. Thank you, commissioners, for that. We have Commissioner Bakum. Where would you like to start?
Okay, the second quarter financial report.
Okay, let me bring that up. Okay.
Okay. As everyone can see on the quarterly report for FY 25 quarter 2, and a quarter 2 represents January 1st to March 31st. We started off with $103,095.69. We didn't spend any money and we didn't get any money. Therefore, at the end of March, we still had $103.95, 103,095.69. So that's the report.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions about the financial report? Okay, can I get a motion to accept the financial report?
I'd like to make a motion, we accept the finance report. Commissioner Austin.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second, Commissioner
Thank you.
Hermans.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Bakum, you also have the office expenses report?
Yes, if you could share that, that'd be great. I
Yes.
just sent it to you.
Yes, I have it. Just one second.
Okay. So this is the request for some things we want to purchase. Okay. So we will be getting additional money in
Oops, sorry, I'm trying to enlarge it. Hold on a
okay.
second. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll have even more than the 103,000 we have currently by the end of the year if we don't spend any money. So and we had already authorized the purchase of office supplies and communications. So some things that we purchased, which and I just purchased this month because it's April. It's not part of the quarterly financial report for the month that just ended in March. But anyway, we purchased some phones that was authorized. We are planning to. We would like to get some furniture for the office, and that comes under direct office, which we had put 0 for. So I move that we allocate 5,000 to that category, direct office, for furniture.
Do I have a second?
Second that, please.
Okay, and all in
I
favor?
second.
No, we have a second already. Thank you. So we have a motion by Commissioner Bakum, a second by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, all opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, and also, just to be clear, as far as purchases, we had a request to purchase a computer, which would be around $1,200. So I don't know if that would be office supplies or communications or office, but anyway, sorry for, but so I would like to move that we authorize the purchase of a computer for $1,200 or approximately $1,200.
Okay.
I'll put a motion on the floor.
Commissioner Bakum has made a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank
Commissioner
you.
Austin.
Thank you, Commissioner Alston. Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Bakum and seconded by Commissioner Alston. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, sorry.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all right. Okay, anything else on the requested items, Commissioner Bakum?
Well, just to wrap things up. Basically, the items listed here, I would like to move that we're authorized to purchase these items, just to be 100% sure that everyone agrees. The office supplies, $103,000, office supplies, $103,095.69. So that's the motion.
Okay,
phones, supplies for doing hybrid meetings, printer, business cards, we could have already done, I know. But like chairs, tables, desk, keys, envelopes, whatever. So these items are requested and I move that we purchase these items.
Can I make an amendment to the motion?
Only if it's seconded.
I
If it-
second it. I second Commissioner Austin.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to make amendment to the motion. I'd like to suggest that all of that be acceptable. Most of that we've discussed previously, with the exception of the technology required for hybrid meetings until we get a better idea of what exactly that would entail.
I don't accept that amendment.
I don't accept that amendment. I don't.
Would you mind restating what your amendment was?
Sure. So my amendment is that we accept the budget as recommended, with the caveat that we discuss before anything is purchased for hybrid meetings, we discuss the actual amount. It's not to say we wouldn't purchase it, but we should all be in agreement of exactly what we're purchasing and what it's for and the exact amount that's going to be.
I think it's going to be a lot less than you think. That's why
I don't, it's not the amount necessarily that I'm asking about. It's just the overall, what exactly we need. I would like all of us to be involved in the decision-making of what we actually purchase.
maybe we can discuss it at our next executive meeting, but I still.
That's right. So so in order to do that, otherwise, if we approve it tonight, then we're giving blanket approval for the treasurer to purchase it without going through a process. So, that's my amendment.
But I have to accept it or not, right?
Okay.
Hold on, Commissioner Alston. Yes. And I'm not saying that we're not. I'm just saying that we'd like to just confirm what it is exactly we're purchasing for that, and how we're doing that before we purchase that particular equipment.
Commissioner Hermes, can you explain where we're at now in terms of Robert's Rules of Order?
Parliamentary wise, this now being brought forward, this is now the property of the entire commission. So we would take a vote as a commission on whether or not to adopt the amended version, and then we'd hold a second vote on whether or not to adopt the actual. So we'd take a first vote, which is whether or not to amend, and then a second vote, whether or not the amendment passes, is on the actual report itself. But it's the property of the commission, so it's not just like because Commissioner Bakum brought it forward, she gets veto power.
Okay.
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead,
Commissioner
Commissioner
Austin.
Alston.
I think that we at the last meeting decided that we were going to do this. This is like dragging it on too long, because if per se that I want to have the meetings in person, it's been almost 5 months and I can't have my meetings in person and have Zoom at the same time. So I don't accept it. I don't think that we should have an amendment. We've already talked about it, and actually you brought it up last month at the meeting, stating that that's a good idea and whatever, but now you want to change it. I don't think that's right. It's not good for the people that want to have something in person. And you have so many people asking for something in person.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Alston. I do want to just clarify that I'm not suggesting that we're not going to get it. And I do understand that we need it and want to have it, but I just want us to make sure that we are all on board. So perhaps, well, let me see if there's any other commissioners that, Commissioner, any other commissioners want to comment? Commissioner Hermes?
Yeah, I would generally agree with Commissioner Lucio. I think that before we make any purchase, there should be at least some discussion amongst the entire committee, especially because now we have the executive sessions where we're meeting every other week. It just sort of, it's not like meant to be a barrier. I'm certainly in favor of meeting in person. I've told this to everyone. I don't think that this is a barrier. I just think that this is a general check and balance that it's not that we don't trust anyone on the commission. It just doesn't make sense that if this is the budget of the commission, why doesn't the entire commission get say on the actual items being purchased? So I would agree with Commissioner Lucio.
I'd like to say something. This has been discussed over and over 4 or 5 months, even before you started. So everybody knows exactly what it is. This is nothing new.
Commissioner Bakum.
I just know that we've been told that we have to, anytime we want to pass something in the budget, we have to bring it before this meeting, which would be a month from now, May 28th. So that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Okay, Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Sellers, Commissioner Holloway, do you have any comment on this? Okay. Okay. Go
This
ahead, Commissioner
Commissioner
Holloway.
Holloway.
Go
This
ahead, please.
Commissioner Holloway. I think, we've spent enough time, and although I understand you're trying to get everybody's opinion on it, but we've discussed this enough now, and I think we should just move forward with what we have. That's where I'm at with it, okay?
Yep, okay. I will gladly withdraw my amendment, to the motion. All I'm gonna ask is that, that we just have, we just all are on the same page about what's being purchased before it's purchased. Is that reasonable from everybody? Commissioner Bakum?
I think we still have to vote, right? I'm trying to get it onto
We haven't gotten there yet.
on the amendment.
Oh, no, I can withdraw my amendment.
She can withdraw before it's been voted on.
Okay.
So is everyone okay with that? As long as we just have a discussion before just making sure everyone's aware that something that's gonna be purchased and what it's gonna be. Okay. Okay, so we can just do that. Okay, therefore we have a motion on the floor. Can I get a motion to accept, Commissioner Bakum's motion, and which was seconded by Commissioner Alston, to purchase the items that on the budget that was presented by Commissioner Bakum? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Okay. Okay. Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay. All right, next item on the agenda. Thank you, Commissioner Bakum. Is commission action items and updates. We have two. The first one, actually, we are not taking an action on. The first one is Conway Education Center. They had made a request for holiday work for they had made a request for holiday work, and we had a single member district meeting for 5A03, and 5A03 was not in favor of them doing holiday work. So they are not providing, they are not bringing to the ANC Commission 5A a request for holiday work hours at this time. I know that Will Collins is on the call. He is part of that project. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that, but just let everyone know that we will not be voting on that item at this time, even though that's on the agenda. 5A05, Washington Latin has requested a holiday work. Is someone here from Washington Latin?
My hand's raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Sellers.
Can you clarify holiday work?
Yes, they had asked when there's a project, they can request, they're not allowed to work before 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. before 7 a.m. or after 7 a.m. Monday through Friday and Saturday. They're never allowed to work on Sundays. They are also not allowed to work on holidays. Sometimes the construction projects want to try and get done more quickly, or they are delayed due to weather and are asking for an exception to work on holidays, which would allow them to get done faster if they're delayed by any point. But in order to do that, they have to come before the ANC Commission. Does that clarify the question, Commissioner Sellers?
It does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so do we have someone here from the Washington Latin School? they are here, please acknowledge yourself.
Go on.
Hello? Is that someone from Washington Latin? No.
Come back, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay, they are not, do not appear to be here. Okay, what I will share with you is that we did discuss this with ANC 5A05, and they had approved to let them work on certain holidays, but because they are not here today, we cannot vote on this as a commission. So unfortunately, this will not move forward until we can do that. Okay, do we have a representative from the mayor's office? Is our mocher on? Anthony Black, are you on the call? Okay, I guess we are going to move to Oliver from the council member's office. Good evening, Oliver.
Well, I'm not Oliver. I'm Adriana.
I'm sorry, I got a call from Oliver earlier, so I assumed it was him. So sorry.
You're so fine. My name's Adriana. I'm the Constituent Service Coordinator for Councilmember Parker's office, and I'll be giving some announcements. So an update on the budget delays. We're still holding pattern for the budget season as we await the passage of the DC Local Funds Act. The mayor has proposed leveraging a 2009 law to allow the district to increase its budget by 6%. If that money is available, it will help reduce the amount that we have to cut by about 600 million. In this case, the mayor is saying that we would need furloughs of the district government employees, cuts to certain.
I'm sorry, can I catch up? Can you do me a favor and slow down just a little bit?
Yes, I can.
Thank you so much.
Got you. The mayor is saying there would be needed furloughs of the district government employees, cuts to certain services, to make up for the remaining $410 million deficit. Chairman Mendelson has asked the CFO to change the date for submitting the next round of revenue estimates to ensure it doesn't occur in the middle of the budget season, while the council is still working on decisions on the budget allocation. This Saturday, we are hosting our Healthy Community Spring Cleaning event. So ANCs and civic associations around Ward 5 are teaming up with our office for a day of community care. Different groups will host cleanup sites. And you can look on our website to see if there's a site near you. On April 30th, we will be holding our public safety call on Zoom. We'll introduce MPD new leadership, ask questions about recent incidents and safety initiatives, and learn more about what Councilmember Parker is doing for efforts around juvenile crime. Next, our office is planning a community meeting to discuss the future of the RFK site. More details on the date and time will come. It'll probably be about 2 weeks out from today. And lastly, ABCA is doing enforcement alongside with MPD to close down illegal shops selling cannabis. So if you notice an illegal shop, you can file an anonymous claim on their website. That's all from my office, and if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Commissioner Bakum has her hand raised.
You said the amount that they were going to be allowed to increase the budget from the FY24 amount was 60%?
6%.
6%?
Yes. If the money is available. So it will
Okay.
reduce the number, it will reduce the amount that we will have to cut.
Okay, by 600,000. I mean, but so it's only like less than a million that we're being able to add. Okay, and we're like $1 billion short, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not that helpful, but it's better than nothing. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
better than nothing, yes.
Yeah, we've all been watching that very closely. Commissioner Thomas, did you have a question?
No, I do not, no.
Okay,
Just
sorry, I
not.
thought I
Thank
heard you say something. Okay, any other commissioners have a question before I call on residents in the community? Okay, I see you, Chenna has a question.
Hi, good evening, Adriana. My question is, I thought I read that the mayor was proposing to send the budget to the council on May 9th. Is that correct?
I can't deny or confirm that because I'm not
Okay.
really sure.
Okay.
But we're hoping soon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay, well, Adriana, you got off easy tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna ask one more time if there's a moker from the mayor's office on the call. Okay. Before we get on to the reports, I would like to make one amendment and invite, we had talked about at our last meeting about a concern which was raised by a constituent about a homeless gentleman in the community, and there's been some updates on that, and so I wanted to invite President Carmen Williams from the North Michigan Park Civic Association to give an update.
Thank you, Chairman Lucia. Can you all hear me?
Yes, thank you, Carmen.
Okay. The update is the gentleman is still incarcerated. We have done a community impact statement that will go before the judge for sentencing. We have found a location for some assistance for the young man, which was recommended by 4D. So once he gets out, we do have a location, we have a site that can give some assistance to the young man versus him being incarcerated. We did have a number of locations within North Michigan Park. There were several dating back 2 years where he had been squatting in some of our vacant properties. So hopefully we can find a solution to this and not have this continue. But as of right now, the young man is still incarcerated.
Thank you. I'd like to give anybody in the community, commissioners or commissioners first, and then community a chance to ask questions if they have them.
Yes, I was wondering, what is, have you read his pre-sentencing report on him?
I'm sorry, say it again. I couldn't understand.
Have you read his pre-sentencing report?
Yes.
Okay, and what do they recommend?
Well, what they recommended, because he does have a record, and that's why he is still incarcerated. He wasn't incarcerated for the squatting. He was incarcerated for doing something else. The young man was raised in the North Michigan Park community, which is why we're reaching out trying to find some assistance versus having him incarcerated.
Does he have any family in the neighborhood, if I may ask, please?
Yes.
He does. Okay. But you guys, I almost sure you guys reached out to them.
Okay. Thank
Carmen?
you. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
Commissioner
we
Thomas,
have reached
anything
out
else?
to the individual.
Okay.
Thanks. Anything else? Thank you. Anything else from the commissioners?
Bill has his hand.
Yep, I know. I haven't gotten, so nothing else from the commissioners. Okay, from the community, I have Bill's hand raised.
It's
Okay, can you hear
Bill
me
that
okay?
we have been able to do a lot of this back and forth because Bill found out a lot of information in reference to the individual. Bill?
Hello? Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. This gentleman and his brother, he's a longtime resident of North Michigan Park, lived on Emerson Street with his grandmother. His grandmother was a pillar of the community. I understand she even worked with the North Michigan Park Civic Association as one of their block captains, etc. As she got older, she let her grandson stay there. It's two boys, two brothers, two men, and they caused problems. Carmen may not know this, but from August last year through about November, Thanksgiving of last year, those two brothers they just tore up that part of that block up there. They were harassing neighbors. It got so bad that that they were squatting in the house because the grandmother didn't leave the house to them. They left it to an aunt or somebody else. And that person wanted those people out and couldn't get them out. They eventually had to go to court, got them out the house with the U.S. Marshals. However, while they were up there, they were causing so many problems. For example, one of them climbed up on the awning on the house of a neighbor's house, went through the window, lady inside sleep. She didn't hear anything because she was on medication because of her illnesses and whatnot. Went in there and rummaged through her house. I've got documents, impact statements from people. There were about 25 people who signed letters, handwritten letters, typed letters, and whatnot, complaining about these brothers, saying, "Do something. We don't want them in this neighborhood." 25. This is significant. This is significant. Now, I've seen Carmen's impact statement. However, that impact statement did not include the second charge. The second charge is defecating in the backyard, urinating in the backyard. But mainly, the most important thing that's left out of that impact statement is the fact that this gentleman was masturbating in front of a neighbor that he could look. The house he was in. He could look out the second story window, look in the lady's house, masturbating there. He was masturbating in the alley in front of her. Next door to her was some gentleman having a cookout party with guests, and they saw it too. Then it started on a Monday prior to that particular. It started on a Monday and I'm really disappointed in the police car how they handled it. But what happened then was someone called the police because he was masturbating in the front of the house on Emerson Street in front of a lady sitting on her front porch with her new baby and her 4-year-old son. Now, I think this information affects that impact statement about what's going to happen with this guy, where he's going to go. There are a couple of us over here on where I'm at on Delafield Street, close proximity to the house he was recently squatting in. And we are going to do our little impact statement with some, including the description, etc., and spelling out what he was doing on that second charge that wasn't in the North Michigan Park Civic Association's impact statement. Personally, I've known this guy since he was about 12 years old, and every time he would get out of jail, out of youth homes or whatever, and he would show up in the neighborhood, I just knew something was going to happen. I see former Commissioner Fletcher in the chat. He can attest to it that I came to him one time when this guy was parking cars on Delafield Street, taking up parking space. I don't know what he was doing, some kind of hustle he had going on with cars at this time. He would park them and taking up spots, parking the cars, several cars around the neighborhood. I don't know what he was flipping them or what he was doing. And it took a while, but I had to work on him individually actually to get him to move them cars because I know how to talk to him. But nevertheless, I think we might want to, when you consider what you're going to do, ANC and Carmen, you may want to revise your impact statement. I think you might want to consider this second charge. This is really, really significant. I'm done.
Thank you, Bill. And my suggestion would be is for we have a good relationship as ANC with the North Michigan Park Civic Association. So I know that President Williams will be working with the commissioners whose areas are affected by this, and they can do that correctly. Correct, Ms. Williams?
That is correct.
Thank you.
As I had sent the impact statement to you and to Ms. Austin, Commissioner
Yes,
Austin.
correct. Thank you so much. Mr. Oliver.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to second what Bill is saying. I live fairly close to this gentleman, and basically, this is not his first rodeo. He has been, well, the reason why he's in the situation that he's in is that his father, which I knew, and I also knew these guys as kids, his father went to help a friend, and in helping this friend in some type of skirmish, his father was killed when this young man was very, I guess in his early teens. And it really affected him to the point where he was never right since. That being said, he has been involved in and out of the court system multiple times. And the issue here is that while this may be new to a lot of people on this line, was not new is the fact that every time he's been given a chance by the court system, he's wound up abusing it, and they have come after him. As Bill has said earlier, he was squatting in his grandmother's house because she did leave the house to a relative and not to him. She had to go to the court to get him out of the facility. And even then, he kept coming back, despite the fact that I think not only the DC police, but the US Marshals were trying to enforce a stay away order. So I commend Carmen for trying to be helpful, but I think we've gotten well past that. And anyone who does a deep dive on what has been going on will see that I think sterner measures have to be taken. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
If I
Hall.
may, please.
Well, thank you, Robert. I didn't pull all of that in impact statement because it's already in the police documents. The impact statement is what they use for when he goes before the judge for sentencing. And yes, when he was arrested, it was not for the squatting, it was for the other offenses that he did. One of the things that they are requesting as part of this was a stay away order from the community. I don't know how well that's going to work because this is the only place that he knows. That was our recommendation, but again, it is up to the judge, and the judge will decide what the sentencing will be based on his record.
Thank you.
Commissioner,
Commissioner Park, I'm sorry. Yes, Commissioner Thomas, did you have a question?
yes, thank you once again. And I want to thank the Civic Association. All of us, good seeing him again. Mr. Bill, I didn't see his face, but thank you. First of all, I want to say the ANCs are not in the business of getting the caught up in the judiciary system with individuals. It's good that it's coming forward to us. We can process it and think about it. The second thing is, the good thing is, we want to welcome our former chair, 5A.
Yes, Commissioner
Gordon
Thomas,
Fletcher, who's in the audience.
Commissioner Thomas, I was about to do that.
Let's
Sorry.
recognize. Good to see you.
Yep, thank you. I'm also, there's a bunch of other people I'm going to acknowledge in just a second. The representative from Councilmember Parker's office, I believe, had a question. Is she still on the call?
I just wanted to know the name of the gentleman so I can bring it up in our meeting tomorrow.
You know what? I'd rather we
in the
not give
form
that
of an
name. Can we
email.
not give the
I will
name
not
on the?
disclose it here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll send it to you in the form of an email.
Thank you.
thank you. I was going to ask the same. Okay, thank you, Ms. Williams, President Williams, for doing that. I wanted to find a good time in the agenda because they joined late, but I do want to welcome former chair and commissioner Gordon Fletcher, and who's also brought with him from American University's Master's in Legal Studies, members of his class. Specifically, the class is called Legal Analysis of Local and State Governments, and they're here to learn more about how local governments operate. So welcome to you all. Welcome, former Chair Fletcher.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right. So now we have 3 presentations that do not require action items. The first 2 I sort of want to combine. We're going to do Mundo Verde construction update, and then immediately after I want to do also from 5A03 the Providence Hospital development update. As the ANC commissioner for those projects, I'm going to introduce those. So as you know, we've talked about this previously. Mundo Verde is the school tucked way behind Providence. Providence sold to Mundo Verde one of their small offsite buildings, and so that Mundo Verde could expand. So Mundo Verde has been, they got approval for their project and they are moving forward with that. They have been keeping the residents of 5A03 updated onto the project development, but I've asked them to come give an update on their project here. Immediately following, we're going to have Evan, and that's Kristen Scotchmer, who's going to do that presentation in just a second. Immediately following, I've asked Evan Goldman from EYA to come do a presentation on the Providence Hospital project. As you know, all should know, the Attorney General's office did sign off on that. There's still one more step they have to go through with SHPTA before that's finalized, and then they will be coming back to the community. I will put in the chat while they're talking the website for the project, which is called Reimagine Providence, which has all the information on the project. But I've asked them to come do an update. And the reason I'm going to sort of combine those, and is Will Collins still on the call? Will, are you still here?
Yes.
I am,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Thank you. So I have not asked the Kennedy School to come do a presentation on their development quite yet, but as you all know, the Kennedy School, 801 Buchanan Street, the Providence Hospital Project, and Mundo Verde are all in my single member district, and they all border a square footage of property that's connected. And so what we have done is I've asked them to put together sort of a plot description so everybody can, from a visual perspective, see how they all are in relation to each other and the impact that's going to have on the community. And so when Evan does his presentation, he will present that. So Kristen, I'm going to turn it over to you first to give an update, and I'll give you screen sharing right now.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucio, Chairman Lucio, and thank you to the ANC 5A Commission. We, as you know, we've presented over the last 6 months a couple of times. We've been working hard to get our permits in place and a number of legal issues in place. Those are now in place, and you are going to see this project start to ramp up pretty quickly. I don't have a lot of new to add today. I do have a few slides to remind you of the project, but I think the most important thing is that you get to know the people who are going to be who are leading this project and who you're going to be seeing around. So with that, okay, you're seeing my screen?
Yes, thank you.
So these are the folks. We have a representative. We have our new executive director, Shalini, who's here tonight, a representative from Cook Fox, and a number of folks from Gilbane. I'll run through the slides, and then I'd love to just briefly have you get to know each of these folks so that you know who is working on this project and who you're going to be seeing around. Again, our mission is to foster high levels of academic achievement among a diverse group of students by preparing them to be successful and compassionate global stewards of their communities. Our program, I won't repeat this because many of you have seen this, but we have biliteracy in Spanish and English, sustainability education, and project-based learning in the form of expeditionary learning. Very high hopes for our addition at the Varnum property in terms of what it means for deeper quality spaces for our students. These are the spaces. On the left is our current 4401 building. And as you know, we explored an addition on this building. And by virtue of Providence, no joke, no pun intended. But the fact that Providence was getting rid of this space really meant that we had the opportunity to acquire a large property, which is quite rare for a charter school. And that is the property to the right. The hatch squares are the Stewart Center, and that is their property, but we're lucky enough to be able to share space with them and the space that you see. This really is our vision for the site. It's a sustainability demonstration site, some additional classrooms to serve our growing student body, which is still the same growth that we've been promising all along, but it's getting tighter and tighter in our current building. A multi-purpose room, and then a lot of amenities in terms of outside space, improving the outside space, making it accessible for students to use, available to neighbors in off hours, and then a highly sustainable site, including capturing all the stormwater on the site, which I know is a pain point for some neighbors along the Barnum Street. Just some images to give you some inspiration for what we will be seeing built over the next year. We have been promising to begin demolishing this building. We've been promising for quite a few months. We did receive our raise permit this week, and the team is mobilizing as planned this week. The demolition process will be noisy. We hope for it to not be too painful, but it is starting to mobilize. And then once the building is demolished, we will begin to move into building, working on the site and building the space. This is a little more specifics, and this will be in the slideshow that Emily has access to share with the community in terms of milestones along the way. I'm going to pause here because this really is about Gilbane, and just take a moment to introduce the team. But this is what our on and off site map is for how construction deliveries and access to the site will take place. And with that, I invite my team to come off camera if you can. And I'll stop sharing my screen briefly, and then we'll come back on with some names and contact information. So I'll start with Shalini, our new executive director. If you want to say a few words, thank you.
Shalini Shaibat. I'm the executive director as of the beginning of February, but I've actually had a pretty long relationship with the community. I've been a parent at the Calle Ocho campus since 2019, and we have a lot of friends who are 5A3 neighbors who actually live in the area. And so we've been a longtime community member in various ways. I am new to the executive director role and just really excited to continue to get to know all of you. I've met our commissioner, and I'm just really grateful for your partnership. So looking forward to partnering with you all. And please do feel free to let our team know if you have any questions or concerns at all. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Shalini. John Byers, our project manager. Would you like to say hello?
Absolutely. My name's John Breyer. I'm doing the project management on this job. I've seen some of the folks here on other projects over the years. So my number will be public, and you're always welcome to reach out to me if you have any questions or you need anything from us.
Thank you. I believe Zach is here to represent Cook Fox. He's responsible for those beautiful renderings.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Zach Kern here with Cook Fox Architects. We are an architecture firm based in New York City. On our team on this side is myself as a project architect, and then Arno Atkins, who's not on tonight. He's a partner and manager in charge. We predominantly do, single family homes all the way to larger complex urban centers with a proficiency and sustainability and design. This is our first DC project, but we've been in the area of Virginia recently, and we're excited to be part of the Mundo Verde expansion, and excited to see it finally get in the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. We'll turn it over to Gilbane. I believe we have a number of folks there. Blake, you want to go first and then pass it on?
Yeah, very briefly, my name is Blake Clancy. I'm a senior project executive with Gilbane Building Company. We've been long history of work in the district, both for charter schools and the public school world. Number one K through 12 builder. So we're excited for this project. I'll turn it over to Kevin Strupp, who's our project manager, and he can introduce the rest of the team. I believe Kevin's on. I don't have a list.
I'm looking for him, Blake.
Okay, if Kevin,
I see Jen.
I can pass the baton to Jen May. We have Kevin, Ethan, and Jen, who are primary on-site, and Jen is our senior general superintendent, who will be our on-site manager full-time. I'll pass it on to Jen.
Good afternoon. I'm Jen May. I will be on site every day. If you have any issues, come see me. Ethan and Kevin will be on site also. Whatever you need.
Thank you, folks. Like I said, we have got a slide with phone numbers that I will share shortly, but really wanted you to just put some faces to some names and know that this team is dedicated to making this project as seamless as possible for members of the community and members of the school community and the neighborhood, and is also committed to ensuring that this project is a beautiful contribution in terms of sustainability and beauty to the community. So thank you for being here. We'll take any questions that folks have.
And Kristen, if I might add, we'll have a page going up on our website as well that will have construction info and contact information so that
Great. Thank you all so much. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Okay. Any questions from the community? Otherwise, I want to move on to the Providence project, and we can also talk about both of them at the end because there's some connectivity between the two as well.
I'm just going to put the phone numbers in the chat because that might be simpler for folks than the slides, and happy to take questions later. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Kristen. Okay. Okay. I'm going to Evan Goldman, I saw you were on the chat.
I'm here.
On the
Hi,
call.
Commissioner.
Good evening. All right, let me just switch something real quick. Okay, let me do that. And then, where are you? I need to find you. Hold on.
Is it, if I speak, do I pop up for you? Is that
No,
helpful?
that's okay. I got it. I got it. I've got too many things going on my screen. I got it though. All right, I'm going to give you co-hosting. So you're up, Evan. Thank you.
Ready to go? Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you to all the commissioners here this evening. I really appreciate you letting us kind of a few moments to give you an update on the Providence Hospital site. My name is Evan Goldman. I'm Executive Vice President for Acquisitions and Development at EYA. I worked on the Townhomes of Michigan Park project just across from Providence Hospital, as well as the Riggs Park Place project up the street in South Dakota and Riggs. So I know a whole lot of you on this call, and it's really nice to see familiar faces. So thank you. I'm excited to be here with the community again. Just a real quick, there's not much to share yet, but the big news is, here we go in presentation mode. A little bit about who we are, EYA. For those of you who don't know us, we've been around for about 33 years. We are based in Bethesda. We started in Northern Virginia, but we've been doing neighborhoods all around the region, a whole bunch of which are in DC proper, including the two that I just mentioned that are in Ward 5 and Ward 4. Both Ward 5, right? No, the Riggs Park one is Ward 4. Sorry, right on the border. We most of the owners of the company live in DC proper. I live in Adams Morgan with my wife and 3 kids, and we're huge supporters of the city. We've been working on the Providence site for quite a while with a partner named Mankiti Group, and they are a Ward 5 developer as well, minority-owned business based down in Brookland, and have contributed a lot to the economy of the Ward 5 area. And I don't know, is anyone here from Minkiti that wants to introduce themselves? I forgot to look and see. Going once, going twice. Okay. Anyway, there's also there we go. Somebody's saying something. Oh, somebody's trying to be admitted. Okay. There's a woman on the phone named Mika, who's also with EYA. She's relatively new to the company, so you haven't met her yet, but you'll get to know her over the next number of years. But both of us are heavily engaged in this local community. This is the overview of the site, and I'm sure you all know it well, but 12th Street in Varnum is where the hospital sits. The property stretches all the way back to Carroll Manor, pretty deep into Buchanan Street. You just saw with Mundo Verde, we actually were part of brokering that transaction, the sale of, not from an official perspective, but we helped make the introduction between Providence and Mundo Verde in order for Mundo Verde to purchase that property, which is going to be really phenomenal for their school and for the neighborhood. And then we've been focused on the redevelopment of the main campus itself. Some things just to be aware of, everything outlined in black dotted lines are buildings that will remain in place. So if you use any of the medical services that are open on the campus still, those will remain open through construction and long term. Those are actually owned by a company named Ventas, so not by Providence or Ascension. And their intent is to stay in place through at least the end of their lease term in 2056, and then hopefully beyond that as well. And we've been in discussions with them about the redevelopment of the site for many years. Beyond that, you have a parking garage that services the medical office buildings that will also remain on site. The police and fire clinic will remain on site as well, down along Varnum Street. It's a really pretty old building. And Carroll Manor, the nursing home will all remain. So all of those uses will remain. If you use any of those are not going away. The urgent care, as you know, did close. But one of the exciting things actually, I'll get to that in a moment. One of the exciting things about the Office of Attorney General's decision is that they are not only just encouraging us to include an urgent care within our PUD, which we have always hoped to do, but they have set aside some money that might help fund that urgent care. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Um, we were with the community. We've been out in the community. We had 20 meetings way back 2 years ago. I'm sure many of you on this call attended some of those presentations and meetings. And then we went away. And the reason we went away was that the Office of Attorney General needed to do their assessment of the value of the transaction that's required by law, by DC law, that they value any charity or charitable asset that's being sold. So a hospital is a nonprofit being sold to private development. They have to value the site themselves to make sure that the nonprofit is getting fair market value for the property, and that the charitable assets, the remaining charitable assets, stay in the city for use. And so that is a very complicated thing to do. This is probably one of the most complicated transactions the OAG ever had to work on in this regard. And so it did take a very long time, but they worked diligently for the last 2 years on this. And ultimately, about a month ago, came to agreement or came to their assessment that they believe after demolition of the buildings, which is about $30 million, that the value of the remainder of the land is about $5 million. That $5 million will go into a charitable asset account and will be able to be used for healthcare related nonprofit or healthcare related uses within the city. We have been working with your supervisor, your council member, Zach Parker, as well as Emily Lucio, the chair of this committee, and our single member ANC, to make sure that the money doesn't just stay in the city, but it actually stays locally in this community. And one of the uses that we have always talked about OAG, the Office of Attorney General, for it to be used for is to help subsidize a new urgent care on the property. We've talked to most urgent care operators, and without some sort of subsidy, it will be very hard to get one to operate or open here. And so that subsidy will be really critical for that. So that was really positive news. Beyond that, what this opens up to the next step, which is SHPTA, the State Health Office, is doing their review after the OAG has done their review. So it's their turn now. We believe they're going to be working on that over the next 30 days or so, and that beyond that, once we get past that, we'll be able to then work through the zoning process and actually get a project out into the community for review. So we hope to be back in front of you in the next 60 days with some more detailed plans to look at and a plan that we can submit to the city for review and get the process started. Really quickly, this is the summary of the Office of Attorney General terms. As I mentioned, the $5 million to contribute support healthcare in the district. There'll be a trust board formed to manage the distribution of that $5 million. So it won't be coming from us. It'll be coming from the Office of Attorney General. The urgent care center included in the PUD, and then transfer of the functional medical equipment. What I do have an update. I had presented at the Queens Chapel meeting about 2 weeks ago or last week, and I wasn't sure how that medical equipment gets transferred or where it gets transferred to, but it does seem that Providence Hospital has found nonprofit healthcare providers in the city that are interested in that equipment and is working with the Office of Attorney General to actually transfer that equipment. So MRI machines and other things that we wouldn't want to go to waste within the DC community can be transferred to those other entities. Lastly, the existing medical office buildings will remain in place. The nursing home, the police and fire clinic. I just cannot stress enough for all of you. I know you're very engaged in the community. If you can get that word out so people who might be spreading rumors or getting nervous about losing their dental office or their medical office that's there, that is all staying. So if you can make sure they know that, that'd be great. We've agreed to a minimum of 20% affordable housing on the site, and we hope to increase that. And then, as I mentioned, SHPTA is doing their review now, and so we appreciate all their hard work too. Lastly, next steps. As I said, come back in front of all of you over the summer, starting in about 30 to 45 days, share a more detailed plan, have additional community meetings, go through the zoning process. We're hoping to start demolition next summer. And that demolition work will take about 12 months because we have to demolish the building around the operating and existing medical office tenants. And so that's not very easy to do. So that will take quite a while. And then that will allow us to start construction on the actual development beyond that. And so with that, I'll hand it back to to all of you. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Evan. I do want to point out one thing, since you mentioned it was a PUD. And as many of you know, we've gone through a PUD process before with the townhomes at Michigan Park. And when we did the PUD with the townhomes at Michigan Park, we did create a community agreement. And so it's our intention to work with EYA on a community agreement for this project as well. Evan, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, yeah, as we had a whole bunch of community meetings, as you may recall, 2 years ago, we started hearing from the community about different things the community would like to see. And so we've already started a list of potential community benefits. So when we come back out to the community over the next month or two, we can share kind of a draft list of some ideas. And then that would ultimately, with agreement from this commission, be turned into a benefits agreement that'll be written in stone and approved as part of our zoning commission approvals, that those things will actually happen within the community. And we've had a lot of very creative and good ideas that have been brought forth to us so far.
Great. Thank you, Evan. Okay. Evan, I'm going to stop sharing
Okay,
so that, or if you can stop sharing.
there you go.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start with commissioners. Commissioner Emez.
Thank you, Chair Lucio. So for a little bit of background, I represent Catholic University's campus and a number of Catholic religious houses in the area in my single member district. And I think that while there's obviously a lot of opposition to the whole redevelopment as a whole, one of the big things that I've heard from my constituents is that they want to keep at least some level of a Christian or Catholic identity. It's in the name Providence, right? God's providencia, what God foresees. So are there any plans to keep a chapel, to keep somewhat of a Christian identity in the community beyond just the fact that the name, rings a Christian message, or is that sort of just being worked out?
So I've not had any conversations of that sort, but I'd love to meet with you and your constituents about stuff like that. Admittedly, I know quite about Judaism, as given my name. I'm not as familiar with Catholicism, although obviously there's a relation. But yeah, we'd love to hear about that. That isn't something we've intended to do or even been asked to do by Providence itself, but it's interesting, and maybe there's something to do with the way we handle our placemaking and community or artwork or things that we do throughout the park spaces and public spaces that could create some really interesting play on that. So I'd love to. I'll put my email in the chat.
Great, that'd be very helpful.
Yeah, reach out to me. That'd be really cool.
Thank you. Before we go on to further questions, Commissioner Thomas, just me 1 second. I neglected to mention one thing, and that is, I mentioned earlier that Will Collins was on the call, and
I forgot to share the slide.
Yeah, could you share that one slide, Evan?
Yes, sorry about that.
Thanks.
Um,
This is one thing I do want to make sure we recognize.
Yep. It was the next slide and I didn't hit forward. Sorry about that. Here we go. There we go. Okay. So just to explain this a little bit, you're looking at the site here, 12th Street and Varnum. Just to orient everybody, the townhomes of Michigan Park are already under construction, already completed, and people live in those homes. So you probably have met some of those neighbors. The outline in dash is the old hospital, the hospital itself that's closed, and those are the buildings that will be demolished. These are the buildings that will remain in gray. So from a timing perspective, I labeled these A, B, C, and D, the different parcels that Commissioner Lucio was talking about. The Kennedy School will be starting construction the first quarter of 2026, so just Oh, sorry, completion is under construction. Will be completed in the first quarter of 2026 around January. So that's Will Collins's project. And then when that is completed, they'll move on to Block C, which is site work beginning March of 2026, vertical construction next fall in the fall of 26, and completion in the fall of 2028. You just heard from Kristen from Monteverde. So they are literally starting demolition right now, and they'll be under construction from June of this year through April of next year. So they'll finish their project right about when Will starts the townhome portion of the Kennedy School site. And the two schools will finish right around the same time, a few months apart. And then we will be starting demolition towards the middle or end of 2026 on the hospital itself, assuming all goes well with our approval process. It's pretty aggressive. And then we would start site work about a year later in mid 2027. So at that point, the two schools will be open and operating. The townhomes will be on their, people likely be living in those buildings at that point. And then we will get to the vertical construction of our project, which is a mixture of affordable housing, townhomes, senior affordable housing, family oriented affordable housing, townhomes, the urgent care, and hopefully a little bit of retail. And we'll be completing our project in 2030. So one of the nice things is, from a phasing perspective, the Kennedy School townhome project likely will be nearing completion when we start delivering houses on our site. So it'll be at kind of a nice phasing of development without all the projects coming together at the exact same time. And obviously the Providence development is pretty far off in the future, with the real work starting in 2027, 28.
Thanks. Evan, if you can leave that up for 1 second. Two
Will do.
things I want to say just real quick is that I am meeting regularly with all of these developers to make sure that we are all on track in terms of construction schedules, truck traffic for these projects, making sure the lack of limited disruption to the community. Initially, there was the concern that the Providence development may be almost at the same time as the Kennedy School development. For better, for worse, that did not happen. One of the things you all may recall is that when the Providence, or when the Kennedy School project was going forward, we did ask to have a joint agreement between the Kennedy School and Providence project about a parcel of land that borders each other, that with the amount of green space, we wanted some collaboration about what that green space was going to be used for. So they have been working together as their projects border each other. Evan, do you want to say anything else about that?
I was just pointing it out on the screen that park
Yeah,
space is here between the two properties,
right.
or will be there.
Okay, thank you. If you could stop sharing. And Evan, I think you may have already, but if you didn't, could you please make sure to send me the slides so I have them to share with the community after
Will
this?
do.
Thank
You got it.
Okay, any other questions? I know Commissioner Thomas.
Yes, good afternoon, Goldman. Good seeing you again.
You too.
Thank you for coming to Queens Chapel Civic Association. It was a very interesting meeting. One of the biggest fears were the long-term place for elderly people. As you said, they were not bothered that. They were happy after the meeting with that, very happy,
Yep.
okay? The other thing is, the Providence Hospital, the equipment, I'm glad to hear that it's being moved out and someone will be able to use that. Because that equipment's been sitting there for over 2 years and it's not that old, but someone else could use it.
Yep.
It was, we were shocked when we heard that they had left all that equipment, Doc, and it was good equipment too. So yeah, I'm glad that. The last thing is urgent care. How does this work? Is this like 7-Eleven? People come and open up, or how does this work when we talk about urgent care?
Yeah, great. So healthcare in the city is extraordinarily regulated, as you can imagine. So to open an urgent care in the city, you have to go through a healthcare review process. SHPTA, I believe, is the office that administers that, and get a certificate of need or a CON approved, which is what the hospital had as well. And that's what SHPTA is working on to extinguish their CON. So it has to be a legitimate, provider of urgent care services that gets reviewed and approved by the city. We can't just find a random tenant on the street and fill the space. And so that's the first part. There are some urgent care providers that are already in the city, and so they've already gone through the pre-approval process with the city. So Georgetown Faculty Associates, I think, or not Georgetown, George Washington has their hospital has their urgent care centers. There's MedStar urgent care centers throughout the city. I believe Howard University is trying to get urgent care centers approved as well. So there are local providers and then national providers that work with the city to get their authority to open an urgent care in the city. And then the way the money would work is it would actually, the Office of Attorney General will appoint trustees to manage the $5 million. This urgent care tenant, whoever it is, will then apply through the trust to get capital to help them defray either operating costs or their equipment costs, their build out costs, whatever it is to get the urgent care open.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions from commissioners? Okay, I'm gonna go to the general public now. Uchenna, thank you for waiting.
Hi, Shannon. Nice to see you.
Hi, good evening, Evan. Good to see you as well. So quick question, can you just clarify what SHPTA is reviewing? Is it specific to the official closure of the hospital and exactly, what you're expecting from their conclusion of their review?
Sure, happy to. So I'm going to share what I believe it to be. I'm not a lawyer, so if I get some of these terms wrong, please forgive me, but this is what I believe it is. Anytime a healthcare entity in the city closes or requests to close, they have to get their certificate of need reviewed for essentially being terminated by the city. And SHPTA does that process. And I believe part of the reason is, God forbid if every hospital in the city all decided at the same time they were going to close, the city wouldn't have the ability to deal with our population from a healthcare perspective. So that's one of the roles SHPTA plays within the city, amongst many other roles. And so they, at this point, now that the Office of Attorney General has finished their initial review and approved the sale, that allows I believe the timing then allows SHPTA to do their review of the certificate of need and likely extinguish it since there's no more healthcare services in the hospital itself and it's ready to or it is fully shuttered. So that's what I believe it is. If there's just in case there's someone from SHPTA on the phone and I misspoke, feel free to interrupt me, but I think that's what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Miss Moore, Mr. Moore, K Moore, iPhone. I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Can I?
Yep, now I can hear you. Go ahead. Yep, thank you.
All right. So as relates to green space, if can be provided, what are the local partnerships that we have for green space options?
Yeah, happy to discuss that. So yeah, I'd say 2 years ago when we were doing our community outreach, open space, green space was one of the biggest things that was requested and talked about within the community meetings. So what we've been talking about so far is a kind of a field, play space for, at the elementary school size, not a full adult size soccer field, but a field that can be used by the community for events as well as for playing sports. There's a dog park and a second children's playground because the children's playground that we built at 12th and Varnum is pretty busy at this point and because there's such a need in the community. So we'd be building a second playground as well as a dog park. Those two will be near each other and to the further north of the site. So some of the other input we heard from the community was that too much of our open space was being focused towards Varnum and 12th, and that residents who live up in Buchanan or north of the site want access to open and amenity spaces as well. So we've done that. In addition, we'll have a number of tree save areas, contemplative open spaces with seating. And so what Commissioner Hermes had mentioned in some of those more contemplative open spaces could be really interesting places for places to contemplate and places that might have for somebody who's religious to have that feeling on the site, which could be really cool. So there'll be a series of different open spaces. Right now, it's our belief that the city will have us or the homeowners association that owns all the 25 acres after the project is built, maintain all of those open spaces in perpetuity because the city, given budget issues, is not looking to take on other major park spaces for maintenance and operations. But we have been asked when we were in the Queen's Chapel meeting last week, one of the questions was to see, can we get the city to agree to accept at least the more visible, busier park space so that there's a level of ability to push the city for maintenance which there would still be with the private entity as well. But there are some people that would be much more comfortable with it being owned by the city. So that's to be decided. But my gut is that the city won't have the funds to take it on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question.
Any other questions? We do have Evan from EYA, Kristen Scotsmere from Mundo Verde, and Will Collins from the Kennedy School and the 801 Development, if anyone else. Commissioner Sellers.
Hi, Evan. Question, did you say that the streets, will they be owned and maintained by the homeowners association, or will they be maintained by the city?
Great question. We don't know yet. So we haven't really had meetings. It's been 2 years, so we haven't had a meeting with DDOT on the project for 2 years. The last time we met with DDOT, I believe they wanted us to build the streets to public standards, create public access easements on them so they would act like public streets, but that we would maintain them so that they don't have to add cost to their budget. I believe that was the last conversation, but it's been 2 years. So we'll start those conversations over the summer as well.
So potentially you all would be responsible for snow removal and
That's right.
just general maintenance.
That's
Does that
right.
and that would include sidewalks.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so the neighborhood we built across the street at 12th and Varnum, the townhomes of Michigan Park, that's the way those streets are maintained. So the trash, the snow removal, all the typical public services that you would get are provided by the HOA.
And what about police protection?
No, police protection is always a city. That's always a city. That's always a city agency protection from a policing.
For the exception of the wharf.
Well, so I mean, if they have private security, that's common around heavy retail areas, but yeah, that wouldn't be something we'd be looking to do.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, thank you. Any other questions? I don't see currently any other hands raised. Evan, Will, Kristen, I think you all are getting off easy tonight. I thought it was going to be a lot more questions. But I know we're going to be talking to all three of you
Exactly
in the future. Bill has one question, Evan. How many homes are you planning on right now for the development?
Yeah, great question. I also just put my cell phone in the text just in case anybody wants that as well. So you have both or in the chat, you have both my email and my cell phone. So yes, right now we're proposing 120 affordable units, about 60 of which would be senior affordable units, about 60 of which would be family targeted senior affordable units. Those will be in 2 buildings that are attached to each other. And then the rest of the site will be a mix of affordable and market rate townhomes. And those will be, we think it's going to, depending on the size of the units, how small or big we go, we think it'll be around 250 to 280 townhomes. But we haven't we'll have more information to share on that in the next, I'd say, as I said, 30 to 60 days. When we come back to the community, we'll come with an actual site plan and can talk about unit mixes and things like that.
Thank you. So I do want to also just add that, one of the things that I have stressed repeatedly to Evan and to Will as they do these developments is to make sure that there is ample green space included. And I think so far, both of them in their plans that they've brought to us have done a very relatively good job. Commissioner Hermes, I actually like your idea very much of some sort of maybe like a labyrinth garden or something of that nature, right? I think that's a lovely sentiment to the historical aspects of the property, and I'm more than happy to work with you on that as we work with Evan to move this project forward.
Great. Yeah, happy to. We actually did a contemplative maze in like a walking circle in one of our projects in Virginia that just delivered on a smaller scale, but we could do something pretty cool here. And there was, in front of the hospital, there was a obviously a hospital is a place where people are going when they're visiting people who are ill. So there was a contemplative garden in front of the hospital itself for people to sit on a nice day outside and, get out of the hospital if they're, overwhelmed by the sadness of it. So
was that the one right by the entrance across from the
Exactly.
parking lot? Yeah, that's what I
Exactly.
thought. That was a nice little garden.
Yeah, so I think there's some really cool things we could do with that. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, last question from you, Chenna.
Yeah, one last question. So it's April now. You said 60 days. So it's the expectation that you would come back to the June meeting, or are you expecting that the ANC will have a special meeting over the summer?
Oh, great question. We'd be happy to come back in June. That'd be great for us. I think we'll have more to share by then. And we are going to North Michigan Park I think it's June 1st, or it's the first week of June, whatever their meeting is in June, we'll be presenting there too. So yeah, we'd love to do that. That'd be great.
Yeah, we will add you to the June meeting agenda.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uchenna, for asking that question, because I think all of us could use a little bit of a summer break if we can get one. Okay. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. And Evan, please send me those slides.
Will do.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody. Nice meeting you or seeing you all.
Okay, we have one more presentation from the Office of the Ombudsman of Public Education, how we can help. Jennifer Souza Dodds, are you on the call?
Hi, I'm going to be presenting today.
Okay, I'm trying to find you so I can pin you. That was my last problem with Evan. Hold on. Where are you? Can you speak up again?
Bree, right here.
Does it say your name on the screen?
Bree Sullivan. I'll put it in the chat also. Thank you.
Okay. Bree, hold on. Let me just try and find you. Huh. Let's see. Hold on, just give me 1 second to find you. Why are you not coming? Just 1 second. Okay, why don't you go ahead and get started? Do you need me to give you screen sharing? There you are, I got you. Okay, let me, okay. There you go. And I'm going to pin you so you're front and center. There you go. Thank you for your patience.
All right. Just a moment. Okay. Settings. Give me 1 second. It's not wanting me to share my screen. All right. I don't think I'm going to be able to share my slides because my computer's about to die since this has been going on a while. Do you have the slides or should I just
I
speak?
don't believe I have the slides.
Okay, great. Okay, I'll just go ahead and go through this briefly to be respectful of everyone's time here. Thank you for letting me speak today. I'm here representing the Office of the Ombudsman for Public Education. We are a conflict resolution service for all DC schools, both public and public charter. We serve as a resource for families and schools that need assistance resolving school-based concerns. We offer equitable access to instruction by providing policy recommendations as well to enhance educational outcomes. Our work involves primarily casework. We hear from a lot of families and community members like you all and like your constituents. We are present at many outreach events around the city. We host trainings in conflict resolution and in special education. Annually, we make policy recommendations to City Council based on what we're seeing and hearing from the community. And we also conduct mediations within schools to repair relationships after a conflict to really just promote the health of the school system in general. Services we provide, we help families brainstorm solutions for resolving issues with the schools. We report patterns of concern to senior leadership to see those addressed. We really serve as an information hub for families. So families just with questions about complicated policies can reach out to us and kind of be walked through what they need to do. We have a lot of work in Ward 5 specifically. We've had 119 cases so far this year. So we've been very involved in Ward 5 schools. Our primary concerns we see are based around safety. That might be concerns with safe passage, going to and from school safely, can be concerns like bullying and violence within the schools. All of those, we help connect families either to the school leadership team, to district leadership, or to outside services, depending on what the concern is. And let me see. Sorry about this. There are a few QR codes in here, so I want to be sure that I can at least send these slides to you all to view later. But we can be reached. I will put my number in the chat and to make sure that you all have that. Basically, we're a really multi-purpose service in the district, and we want to be sure that if Ward 5 constituents are coming to you with school-based concerns, that you know that you can direct them to us and we can point them in the right direction, if not directly support resolving whatever their school-based concern is. And again, I'm sorry my slides aren't working today.
That's okay.
I'll have
Thank
them.
you, Bree. And if you send them to me, I'm happy to post them on the website with the others. So thank you.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank
first
you.
I'm going to offer to take any questions from the commissioners. Okay, seeing no questions from the commissioners, I see one hand raised from the community. B at Artman at number 2.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Just wanted to say that I'm not familiar with your organization, Bree. Are you a nonprofit, part of the DC government, or can you give me a little background?
Yeah, so we're actually housed within the State Board of Education. State Board of Education, we have our elected members, admin team, and then kind of right down below is the Office of the Ombudsman and the Office of the Student Advocate. Both of us are kind of involved in this work of conflict resolution, but we are independent from the state board. So we don't really report up. Our services are confidential and we seek to maintain a neutral role in the school system in order to restore those relationships while connecting both schools and families.
Okay, just a follow-up question. What do you, what would you consider your success rate to be so far? And in terms of the absenteeism that the school system has been facing, is any of that related to, say, bullying or kids just being afraid to go to a certain school for whatever reason?
Yeah, certainly. I'll definitely say that safety is a major thing that we're hearing behind a lot of the reasons for truancy. I know that council, because of guidance from my office and other offices doing similar work, are now considering making exceptions or making an excused absence reason for major safety concerns, because we do see that it is a major barrier from some students getting in school.
Okay, one last thing and I'll let you go. I know that at one time there was a school that students were doing well, but they had a very high absenteeism rate. And I'm not going to delve into the reasons why students didn't go to school. But the point being is that has that been in any way adjusted so that if you have a good student who's doing well in their grades, but they have not gone to school, the specific number of days that is considered what you should be going, would they be held back or is there a way around that?
So we do work with the Office of the Attorney General to support their attendance mediations. Those mediations offer students who are already technically truant from school to meet with us and be supported by OAG. In those mediations, we'll create an attendance plan, and they will be connected to community resources and other services so that we can kind of attack the root causes of the truancy, whether that be safety concerns from the family, issues with transportation, maybe childcare is the reason the student isn't able to come to school. So I'd say we definitely support schools in helping identify those underlying causes to get families the support they need.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver, as always. Okay, any other questions from either the community or the commissioners? Okay, thank you so much, Bree. This was really informative and helpful. I'm sure people are happy to know about this. And as I said, if you send me the PowerPoint, I will make sure to add it to the website.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Commissioners, I want to check in one more time and make sure we don't miss if there is a representative from Mr. Porter or if anyone from the Washington Latin School. Okay, this is unfortunate because I know they were looking to do holiday work and they had gone through the single member district, but had not gone through us. Okay. Okay, then we have some time for community concerns. So are there any community concerns that anyone wants to bring up?
Commissioner Holloway.
Yes, Commissioner Holloway.
I just want to say I did speak to Mr. Souza earlier, and he let me know that he wouldn't be at the meeting, but we're planning a SMD meeting there and with the police department, two different meetings very soon. But let me say what we're working on here is that the traffic, we've had an uptick in crime. My neighbor across the street from me, and we're on First Street, she had her Cadillac converter taken off her vehicle. And in the same day, we had 3 break-ins, car thefts. So beginning of the month, I've already put in place a task force that we're going to come and try to address some of these issues. But we're going to do the residential parking. We're going to do what we need to do to try to help out with the situation. Mr. Souza is working the best he can, but I'm going to get him some help in the morning and in the evening so that we can rectify some of this because people are just parking everywhere and they're not being held accountable. And, you know, the kids shouldn't be punished, but we also have a responsibility that something was brought to our community and we didn't really have a choice on it. So that's where a lot of my constituents sit.
Thank
So
you, Commissioner Holloway. Yes,
I will share, I will keep abrupt what we're doing and moving forward with the commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Holloway. And just for clarification, Mr. Souza is with the Yu Yang School, which is a shared property, has a shared property with Washington Latin. And the property itself sits in 5805, but Commissioner Holloway's SMD is a bordering ANC. So thank you so much, Commissioner Holloway. Bill.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I have a 6-part question.
6-part. I don't know if we have time for 6-part.
Well, they're yes and no's, most of them.
Okay.
I'd like to know what the rules and regulations, procedure, policies as far as how often does a SMD supposed to have a meeting during the course of the year? Number 2, we've got a lot of seniors in the community who've been pillars of the community for years and years and years, ever since North Michigan Park area was gentrified by Black folk. And they can't get to these Zoom meetings. We need more face-to-face meetings. And since we got this conference room I just learned about tonight, maybe we can start thinking about doing Zooms and, you know, just a hybrid thing at that conference room, wherever it is. The next thing is I would like to feed some update from my, because I can't get it, about the discounts and the breakfast at the Z-Burger place over there, whatever the mall is, and whatnot. Final, I'm gonna make this final because I got more, but anyway, APCA. I would like to know the status of the marijuana dispensary because we're getting close to summer, and typically, I think it's a conspiracy. The government has a tendency to throw up license renewals and all kind of things during the summer months when nobody's paying any attention. So I'd like to know what's going on with the marijuana dispensary that's proposed for down at the shopping center down there. Oh, by the way, and hopefully I think Gordon's on the chat. It'd be wonderful if we solicit his help because he had a very Perry Mason. I don't know if you remember Perry Mason, but he was really good at that when we fought the liquor store. So maybe he'll help us out with if we have to fight the dispensary. The new grocery store that opened up. Somewhat, I was wondering if the ANC has approached the management there to remind them that this is North Michigan Park, a special community, and we don't like beer and wine licenses, and tell him to save his liquor, his lawyer fees, and don't even try to put in for a license. That's it. I'm done.
Thank you, Bill. So I'm gonna take a couple of yours and I'm gonna defer a couple of them to the relevant commissioners. So first of all, there is not a requirement for a number of single member district meetings. It is up to the individual commissioner. Secondly, you asked about in-person community meetings. I appreciate that, and we're working towards figuring out a way to do hybrid meetings so it can be useful to everybody. So we will be talking about that in the coming months. I'm going to take something out of order. So, I think Commissioner Alston just walked away because a couple of those were hers, but, Commissioner Alston, are you back? If you want to unmute, you're welcome to address the couple issues that Bill mentioned in your single member district. And then, Bill, I'm assuming by grocery store, you're talking about the Aldi, right?
No,
There's a
he's
new
talking
grocery,
about.
there's a new grocery store down there by the Full Yum in that
Oh,
shopping center.
okay.
Where they sell,
Yeah,
they have candy bar. They
I
cost
can address
$3
that.
each.
Okay, so Commissioner Alston, can you address all three of those issues that he mentioned, please?
Sure. There's not going to be the cannabis operation. It's not going to be there. It's the little grocery store is going to be there, and they're going to be open 24 hours, 7 days a week. And as far as what else did you say, Bill, about the store across the street offering a discount?
The Z Burger discount.
Yeah, the Z-Burger, you have to go in there and actually talk to the manager and make sure he knows that you are part of the commission. Now, this doesn't mean you buy soda, you get a discount. It's like if you buy a meal, a steak and cheese, or whatever else, something like that.
Commissioner Alston, can I ask you a question? So I want to just clarify something you said. So did you say correctly that the cannabis store is no longer going to be there?
No, it's no longer going to be there.
When was that decided?
I don't know when it was decided. All I know is that when I went in there and I talked to the owners of the store, and they're not the same people, evidently, they're different. But there's no cannabis. I talked to them. There's no cannabis going to be sold there at all.
Okay. If you could please keep an eye on that. We don't want that to slip under the radar, and make sure
Oh yeah,
that.
I'm right around the corner.
Yeah.
I told them we didn't want anything like that in our community. Tell them about the community that we have and what we expect.
Okay, and so for the convenience store, I have two questions because I don't think it was ever brought to our attention about approving the hours for that convenience store. Do you know what the hours for that convenience store are? And do you know if they're planning to serve liquor in that convenience store?
You talking about the same one I'm talking about in the strip mall?
Okay, this is the.
No, they're not.
Someone needs to talk to the management, whoever the owner of management. When I ask the clerks in there, they pretend they don't speak English and whatnot. They know what I'm asking, but they playing games. So I brought this up at the last meeting. They came in here, they're going to be 24/7, didn't say nothing to the ANC. It's kind of strange to me. Then a cannabis thing, I suggest that someone goes, that the ANC, with your great weight, goes to ABCA and asks the question, is that license been pulled from the strip mall? I can't do it because I'm just a little old citizen. But your great weight as ANC commissioners, y'all can go to ABCA and ask them what's going on.
I talked to them. They told me that no application had been. They started, but they did never complete it. As far as I know, if the grocery store that's in the strip mall, that was something done before I became a commissioner.
Okay, so
I'm a little slow.
let me just say something, Bill. They never came to us, Commissioner Alston, to ask about hours. So we do need to make sure that we are working with them and the city to confirm what hours, because the community has never been really supportive of a 24/7 operation. And so if in fact
I did talk to the owner, and it's 24 hours, 7 days a week. I told them they probably likely get some pushback because of the fact that they're going to be open 24 hours.
Right.
But they're already open, they're already licensed.
Right. So I think we need to go, I would suggest if we could to go back to the business license and office and ask what the process was, and, you know, let them know that we were never notified, or we did not receive notice of them to come to a hearing. Because usually we would be invited to go to a hearing to communicate our concerns about them being open 24/7. So we should do some backtracking on that and see why we were not included in that before they opened.
So they never go ahead, Tim.
I have a question. Wait a minute. I need clarification.
Okay, hold on a second. One person at a time. Commissioner Alston, go ahead.
When I first learned about it was when I was at the meeting for North Michigan Park, and someone stated that they knew about this store. So now you said nobody ever came to you, nobody never talked to you. So
we usually receive written notice whenever there's a business of that nature coming into the community and ask for feedback from the ANC. And we never received any type of notice, to my knowledge, for that.
Okay.
I'm kind of, excuse me, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Hold on, Bill. I'm sorry. What, Ms. Alston?
What I'll do is, I've been talking to the people downtown. I'll talk to them and see exactly what's going on about that store and when did they apply and whatever. But the last thing I knew that they were supposed to be cannabis. It seems like since the guy couldn't really sell it, rent it as his cannabis because he got wind that we were doing it, he evidently just rented it to these people. Well, I'll find out.
So they're in this space that was supposed to be the cannabis space?
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
And so then the other thing, if you can find out, Commissioner Alston, is what this, I know you asked the owner, but let's try and do some research with the city on have they actually started the application permit process for liquor license, what level liquor license they're asking for, and make sure we know the dates of the deadline dates for the hearings for that, so that we are prepared to go to those hearings and defend the community in terms of that license.
Certainly.
Okay.
Excuse
Bill,
me,
do you have any other questions?
Yes, please. I'm confused. You gotta bear with me because I'm a senior citizen. I'm old. My brain don't work too good. I'm asking Commissioner Alston, did you talk to ABCA about that applicant who wants to do the cannabis? Let me make a correction too. The grocery store does not cover, there's a spot for the cannabis place that is unoccupied. This grocery store does not have the same space as the cannabis place. So my question is, did anybody go with the ANC, please go to ABCA and ask somebody, is that license pending for that location or not? That's all I want to know. But like I said, that spot is sitting there, ready to go with something.
The only spot that's available now is the spot for the barber shop that's supposed to be coming in there. The big spot where the cannabis shop takes the whole entire area.
No, that's not true.
Okay. I'll follow up.
Excuse me,
Yes,
Commissioner Holloway.
Commissioner Holloway, go ahead.
Could we table this issue? And the gentleman that's speaking, I would love for him to give me his information because I do have information in reference to what was going on with the dispensary and how much they were charging so much for them to have rent there. I remember when they were doing the whole thing with the dialysis when it first came. So I'm familiar with that. So please have him reach out to me because we should table this issue. This has gone on too long. And we're asking Commissioner Alston a lot of questions that should be asked to the direct source and not to her, okay? Respectfully. Thank you.
Respectfully, if you have information regarding the cannabis thing, respectfully, I think you might want to share it with the entire chat and everybody here in this Zoom meeting, because rather than just telling me alone, because I don't get tired of answering people questions every day. It would be nice if they could hear it at the meeting.
Mr. Carmack, we talked about the property next to the McDonald's.
Okay, so Bill, I think at this point we have all of your questions. Commissioner Alston is aware of the situation. Commissioner Alston will do her job to look into it. And you can also, and Commissioner Alston can also work with you and Commissioner Holloway if needed. So I think we are good on that for the moment. And then Commissioner Alston can come back to the next meeting and give us an update. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd love to work with Commissioner Holloway on that. Thank you,
Thank you.
Anfield. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we only have about 15 minutes left, so I want to make sure we've got 3 other hands up. Kiala, I'm going to go to you next.
Thank you. I think someone was before me, but I'll go. Um,
You're
one is a
next on my screen.
okay, that's fine. One is a statement, the question. I think it's the same kind of statement, just about safety. There is an uptick in just crime, and although, you know, we say that's why you have, like, for cars, when cars are getting broken into, et cetera, that's why you have insurance, et cetera, whatever. But money is tight for a lot of people, and that's just not as easy as it sounds, right? So just, I don't know what the solution is there. I don't have a solution, but just wanting to report that. Then second is a question, is there an update on the art place and that whole entire phase 1 and phase 2? I know the Aldi's opening was like 2 or 3 months late. And I'm just wondering, just based off of the new information on the site, it seems like other things are being delayed, but it's not very clear.
Thank you. I'm going to take your first question, then I'm going to turn over to Commissioner Bakum to talk about the second question. So in answer to your first question, what I'd like to recommend, thank you for noting the fact that there's been an uptick in crime in your area. What I'd like to recommend is that if you were on the call earlier, there was the information shared about the Ward 5 safety call that is happening next week on Wednesday. I'd encourage you to attend that meeting because it has all 3 commanders from 4D, 5D, and 3D on there. And it is a great place to answer questions and ask questions about crime and get an update. The other thing I'd recommend you do is there's community PSA meetings that happen every month through the 4th District Police Department. And I am happy to give you that information if you want to email me in the interest of time. My email is 5a03@anc.dc.gov. I will also say that we used to have regular attendance by the 4th District Police Department. Because of the short staffing issues with the police, they've been less likely to attend the meetings because it means them taking somebody off the street where they need to be. I have been in touch with the 4th District Police Department, and I am working with them to have a representative come to our May meeting. So hopefully we will have somebody at our May meeting. So I hope that helps a little bit. Commissioner Bakum, if you want to address the other questions.
I don't really have an update, but Deborah, do you happen to have an update for Art Place?
Yeah. If you go to the website artplacedc.com, there's a page that lists the retailers or the merchants that are expected to move into phase 1, some of the open spaces. But given the status of the US economy, let alone the DC economy, I think all those expectations are subject to change. As far as phase 2 is concerned, the developer is seeking financing for the remaining structures in phase 2, but again, the economy is tanking and getting funding is even more difficult than it was before the economy started tanking. So there are no expected opening dates for the 3 remaining residential towers or the FEZ, Family Entertainment Zone, the circular building part of the development.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Deb. Not Grimstead, Deb W.
Oh, thank you. Just briefly, and I know you wanted to table the discussion, but going back to the comments that Bill was raising, there is no name on that store. The address is 4944 South Dakota Avenue. It is different from where the medical marijuana place is. I spoke to the owner when I was there, and he stated that first he said they were open at 6, and I asked him what time they closed, and he said, "Oh no, we're open 24 hours." I asked him about the products that he had prominently advertised in that front window and why those types of products are being sold there, and he said that's what the people asked for. So I'm just asking, when the commissioner also goes to talk to them, please ask them to specify who the people were that requested those products and what type of market research he did in getting to that conclusion.
Thank you, I will.
Thank you. And finally, I've got Robert.
Okay, let me make this real quick. I missed the very beginning of the meeting, so I don't know what had transpired about the conference room in which we're going to build the hybrid communication system. My only question is this, well, I guess a two-part. First is, should we build in that room, what type of assurances or safety we have in terms of the equipment? If something is lost or damaged, who takes care of that? And secondly, will this space be shared such that is the room ours and ours only, or will, if the owner of the property needs to use that room, can they use it? And if they can use it, do they have access rights to our equipment?
So I'm going to go back, Bill, to the agreement that was reached. I was looking to see if former Chairman Fletcher was on the call still. He is not. What I will say is that it's my understanding that that room is ours and the property management's. Commissioner Bakum, that's correct? And I see Deborah Grimstead shaking her head, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what my understanding is from when we signed that agreement. It is not an open community space. We at one point in time did let another group use it. But there were liability issues with that, so we had to ask them to leave. If you remember, we had discussions about that. The second thing I'm going to say is about the equipment is that anytime the ANC purchases any equipment, anybody who has access to the equipment there has to be a liability agreement with that equipment. So if we allow one of our commissioners to use it, there has to be a liability agreement that's signed by those people using the equipment, which is the loss, damage, and liability. Does that partially answer your question?
Yes, it does. And the room we're referring to is the one at the Modern, I believe.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I thought it was someplace else. Thank you.
We also still have an office at UDC, but Commissioner, our new commissioner from 5801 is going to be working with UDC to provide us an update on the status of that, so we can learn more about that because they are going to be doing construction. They're supposed to.
Okay, but in terms of the equipment now, it's slated for the Modern and not UDC.
We have not decided officially where it's going to be, but we will be discussing that, and when we do discuss that, we will let the community know.
Thank you.
And Emily, Commissioner Emily, UDC office is still available, and what we have agreed with UDC in the prior history is that we are able to use one of their big rooms to have in-person meetings, and that's where we've been having it. And we're trying to make sure that even after they do the construction, that room will still be available and that option will be available. And I'm working with the Commissioner Batum on that.
Yes, that is in our new commissioner's SMD, so he will be responsible for that. And yes, we do have a community agreement with UDC that as they do their construction, we still have access to that building, but there may be a time when we don't have access to parts of it as they're doing the construction.
I've also been talking to the library and also the new pastor at Faith United Church, possibly able to use his auditorium or his facilities for that in-person meeting and Zoom meeting at the same time in the library. So hopefully we can do that next month within like 2 weeks. I'm trying to organize that and I'll let
Commissioner
everybody
Olson, there's a 90-day notice for a change in venue for a meeting, so we'd have to give 90 days notice of that.
Okay, but it would still be the same because you'd be able to call in.
Right, but if we change it,
equipped.
if we change from virtual to hybrid or in person, we have to give a 90-day notice. So we'd have to wait till the fall before we could do that. Okay, any other questions? We are at 8:54.
Hi, I put a note in the chat about the slide at North Michigan Park Recreation Center Playground.
Okay. I don't think we had a slide about that. Was there a question about it?
I just wanted to note that it's still broken and it's been broken for probably over a year and multiple 311 requests have been made. And so I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the appropriate commissioners and mokers and any other appropriate officials to try to get it fixed. It's now been boarded up actually, and I dropped a link into the chat to an album of photos that I've taken showing that it's been boarded up. And so it's getting a little dangerous for young people now that there's a board there, there's splinters there, there's nails there, there's screws there. And so any way to expedite getting that repaired will be greatly appreciated. So this is mostly to bring it to attention.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas, that's in your single member district. I do believe that President Williams from the North Michigan Park Civic Association is aware of that. Commissioner Thomas, can you work with President Williams on that, and then also the council member's office to make sure that that gets addressed?
Yeah, if it's broken, Mr. Jackson, I was with him the other day, and those things like that, they have meetings once a week about broken equipment, and I'm surprised that had not been brought up. But to the individual who's on tonight, if you can give me a call, I can set up a meeting with him, and if it's broken, they need to coordinate it off so no one will get hurt over there. I haven't been over that playground in 3 years, but now I think I need to make a trip over there. It's probably more than just that broken over there too. So if that's broken.
It is, but that's the most dangerous. That's the most dangerous, and it's the longest. Like I have a 2-year-old, we've been going over there, and so I've already sent you an email, Commissioner Thomas, copied everybody under the sun. So hopefully you see it. The link to the album is there. If there's other actions that I can take to be supportive and elevate this, please let me know. Thank you.
If you can give me a call, or tomorrow will be a good day to go over there. I can go over there tomorrow morning, and hopefully Mr. Jackson's over there, and we can have a walkthrough. Maybe something else broken over there. We need to bring to his attention. I'm surprised that Joe, I think his name last name, first name, but that he has not. I hope he has reported that. Let's put it that way. My number is 202, Mike, you can know, 390-2229. Give me a call right after this, and we can hook something up tomorrow. Be a great day to do it.
Can you put your number in the
Thomas,
chat, Commissioner Thomas?
Yeah.
And Commissioner Thomas, I will forward you the email that he sent to all of us.
Would you please, yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. It's 8:50 and can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'm putting a motion on the floor at this hour, which is 8:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The ANC 5A meeting come to a close.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I second that, Commissioner.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Take care.